Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for December 6, 2023, the Corruption Playbook edition. And we begin with that story from the Atlantic magazine, which says that Donald Trump and his cronies left the first administration with a playbook for corruption in a second Trump administration. So if you wonder how he's going to do it, well, he learned how to do it the first time around. And if there is a second Trump administration, it will be the most corrupt administration in the history of the United States. And that, of course, includes Warren G. Harding. He's put it all out there, folks. If you vote for him, that's what you'll get. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Mingy Sun reporting that non-disclosure agreements are getting trickier under SEC scrutiny. The SEC is trying to ensure that NDA language is not used to deter whistleblowers. Companies are reviewing their confidentiality agreements because of some stiff fines, including the watershed fine of $10 million against D.E. Shaw back in September. Startled by the size of the fine, many companies are taking a second look at their confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses in various employment contracts, trying to determine whether the language might be seen as squelching whistleblower tips. So, I think corporate America may have started to get the word that you cannot prevent people from going to the regulators if they see conduct which violates regulations that they regulate. No real surprise there either. Next up, from the BBC, a former Tesla employee has cast doubt on the car's safety. He has told the BBC he believes that technology powering the firm's self-driving cars is not safe enough to be used on public roads. He leaked data, including customer complaints about Tesla's braking and self-driving software, to a German newspaper. And now he has stepped forward to talk to the BBC about it. In his first UK interview, he said he was concerned about how AI was being used to pilot Tesla's autopilot service. The autopilot service includes assisted steering and parking, but it still does require someone in the driver's seat from time to time. And finally, from Bloomberg, a article on how the OpenAI saga informs leadership and provides management lessons learned. So there hasn't started to be now some summaries of the OpenAI governance saga. And if you're in compliance, I would suggest you take a look at them because it's got some really interesting pointers around good and bad corporate governance.
The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.